Well, the Memorial Tournament is upon us, and 10 TV, along with 97.1 The Fan, will have you covered with the best coverage there is. Right now, we want to break it down with our team from 10 TV, Dave Holmes and Adam King. From 97.1 The Fan, we have our friend, the one and only Skip Mosic, and Timmy Hall, who is joining us today, looking dapper as ever. Timmy always is in comes to work. You know, most radio guys don't wear a sport coat, but Timmy Hall always in a sport coat. You look nice.
Well, the first day I got into this industry, I wore a tuxedo.
Yes, I know.
And I never looked back. I kind of dumbed it down from the tuxedo, but I just can't seem to lose the sport coat. I sleep in this thing.
Well done. Yep, you look great.
Thank you,
Dave,
Tom.
we'll start with you. The Memorial Tournament is upon us, and you know this is not a major, although I would argue they run it like the fifth major, and they get all the big names usually. Obviously, we'll get into LIV, and some of the people aren't going to be here because of that. But with that said, is that just a tribute to Jack or and what he's created? Because it is. They run it like it's like a major championship, everything.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few things at play there. One is Jack Nicklaus's affiliation, no doubt. I mean, we've seen that before, Dom. I remember one time when you were doing a one-on-one interview with Jack, and he drove the golf cart up to us, and he was on the phone. He said, okay, yeah, we'll talk later. Hangs up, and we said, who's that? And he said, Tiger Woods was calling to let me know he couldn't play. That's not normal, right? When Tiger Woods calls someone running a tournament to let him know personally. So there is that respect for Jack. We joke about the milkshake, but I do think it's actually the golf course as well, being a top 20 course in the country. You put all that together, elevated money, doesn't hurt, but that wasn't always the case. I really do think it's Jack's affiliation. And that, to me, is a major question here in 30 or 40 years. You know, will this tournament be able to sustain after Jack Nicklaus, because he's done such a great job building it to this point? You
know, Adam, you grew up here like me, and I just want to know, you're just a kid. You've been able to play up there now twice.
Just a kid from Northeast Ohio.
Hey, sport.
Hey,
sport.
well, no,
it's amazing that you're here, Adam.
He's from Gahanna. The man's from Gahanna. But growing up just down the street from Muirfield Village, being able to play there, I know what I was like the first time I did it back in 1980, whatever. I mean,
the trees were small. The trees were small back then.
Well, no, they were pretty big. They cut a lot of them down. There were a lot more trees when I played. Trust me. Just you know, what is your? Do you get goosebumps when you get on the course?
Well, my house was on the 14th tee box growing up, and you know,
you're a long way away from urban. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one thing I think that you kind of touched on with the tournament with the Jack, the other part of this tournament is the word pristine in my eyes. Everything about Muirfield is pristine. And I think when you think of a major, everything is pristine. And when you step on the course, and you know, I used to go every year with my family to watch all these golfers. I grew up loving golf. But it really is remarkable that you can go through 7 days of golf, and by the end of the tournament, the course, everything still feels like day one, crystal clear. I mean, they get out there at 4:30 in the morning,
right,
to make sure that this course is in tip-top shape. And yeah, you do get goosebumps. I mean, you think about, I remember the first time I played 14 thinking, this is like the place that I used to love to sit and watch, and to be able to play that hole was amazing. But really, the thing that makes it so special is that there really isn't a blade of grass out of place. It just feels like you can see the hard work that goes into the course, not just in May, but the whole year round.
So you still get giddy when you go there?
100%, every day. I'll
pinch yourself. I mean, I remember the first time I played out there, and it was in a Pro-Am, Skip, and you're a guy that, you know, grew up here. This is the best of Father Hartley, and, you know, you grew up here. Well, Bishop Hartley, excuse me. Anyways, with that said, you have I don't know, for me, it just gives me a great appreciation, because I know how hard it is. You just played out there again. It is so hard to play, and it gives me a great appreciation of just how good these guys are on tour.
Absolutely. And Adam was talking about the conditions out there. We just had this discussion out there last week about something that's oftentimes overlooked, and that is the practice facility. That is a world-class, state-of-the-art practice facility. And we had this conversation with Payne Stewart many years ago, telling people, if they looked at him like he was crazy. He's like, have you really taken a look at that facility? You can practice in any wind you want, just around the horseshoe, the short game area. It's second to none. And when we spoke to Larry Dornish, the pro up there last week, he's like, yes, these guys don't get this week in and week out. That's just another small detail what makes this tournament so special.
Better than a major. I mean, you know, I don't think it's by design. I mean, I don't think they try to hide it, that a lot of what you see at Muirfield Village, Timmy, reminds you of Augusta. I mean, the scoreboards and just the little things they do.
Yeah.
And Jack, borrowed some things from Augusta, but I think he borrowed things from all the things. And it's like his goal was to treat the players so well they want to come here. But Skip's absolutely right. They want to come here because the practice facility is so nice. Even if they don't make the cut, guys would stay and practice. You've played all over the world on golf courses. Where do you rank Muirfield Village?
I mean, yes, I have played one 9-hole round outside of the United States of America, so that makes me a worldly golfer.
Have you ever been to Scotland, Dave?
I need Dom to write my resume for me.
Every time we do these roundtables, Timmy Hall's ego just goes through.
No, have you ever been to
get better
Scotland?
and better.
Who's been to Scotland at the table? Raise their hand. Right there.
He played the old course, though. That's the dream.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
It's a great trip.
I
It
went
was a
to
great
Plain
trip.
City. I played, what's that course in Plain City?
Yeah.
Well, Darby
Which
is
one?
fantastic out there past Marysville.
Yeah, I
Rolling
don't-
Meadows.
Raymond Memorial.
Rolling
Yes.
Meadows.
I don't
Bridge,
fly
golf and
to
gardens.
play golf, but I
Darby
do play
Bridge.
airport.
But hey, to your point, though, with what you were saying, and back to when you were hitting on the Memorial and Muirfield Village being a little bit like an Augusta National, I think what's fascinating about this golf course and what Jack Nicklaus has done here is, I mean, you guys know the logo. It's everywhere when you go into the field. It's right here on our desk. This course with the name, Muirfield, right? Look at the logo. It's the spirit of the claret jug, one of the finest trophies in all of sports, right? For the Open Championship. He has taken little bits of pieces from all of the major championships in golf, and he kind of poured it into one golf tournament. And yeah, the feel with Augusta, because it is more of an American-style golf course with the length of the rough, the fact that it's built into a really, really nice neighborhood. I think for us mere mortals, right? It's also fun to just walk around the golf course and look and try to guess how many dollars are in some of the backyards of the people that live on Muirfield Village Golf Course. But everything about it, how it's done, just how, Adam, you said every single blade of grass is in place. Chad Mark does an unbelievable job. You talk about guys that don't get enough recognition or respect are the superintendents. And what is it, the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America? Everyone that's in that club to keep the golf courses that we play at such a high level. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite events. And yes, Dom, it is the finest golf course I've ever had the luxury to play. Yeah.
And that's a man who's been, just world traveled.
I can say it's a little bit better than Rolling Meadows. And then, the thing is, Dave, they honor the greats of golf. And you think about, this year it's going to be Larry Nelson. They always get a huge field, and we'll talk more about the LIV and if that's hurting it at all. But with that said, this tournament now, and we're seeing change coming to golf. Obviously, the Memorial Tournament is now between the PGA and the U.S. Open. 2 weeks after the PGA, 2 weeks before the U.S. Open. Does that help, do you think, the field at Memorial?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to have a little bit of space in there so players aren't feeling burned out or feel like they have to get right back to preparing. I think it's good to have a competitive event in the middle there. I think $20 million helps a lot now that it's an elevated purse. I mean, if you have 47 official PGA Tour events, this is in the top 6 as far as purses go. So I think all those things, when you take prestige and the money and the timing that you want to be sharp between the major season, I think it's a good thing for the tournament.
I don't want to, if I can interrupt real quick. Last year, I don't know if you remember, Justin Thomas didn't play.
Yeah.
And Justin Thomas said he didn't play because it was so close to the U.S. Open, and he wanted to play the event before that to try to win. I think elevating it has kind of taken away any concerns
100%.
of that.
The other thing, Adam, you look at this tournament, and obviously it's been a stepping stone for guys. And you brought this up earlier. Obviously Tiger Woods won it a bunch of times. We've seen John Rahm. But we've also seen guys, it's like been an indicator. We'll see guys win this tournament only to go on then and win a major. It's been a stepping stone. Why do you think that is? But you've also seen guys like William McGirt and
David Lingmerth.
And guys that just,
Maltby.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things is the challenge of the course. I mean, I think there's no doubt that it's one of the toughest courses on tour. So if you can win here, you can win just about anywhere. And then it kind of goes down to the idea that it is so similar. Jack obviously talked about not playing the PGA Championship there. He's built it after the Masters. When you think about those two events, you're playing a course that's very similar, could hold a PGA Championship. So I think in retrospect there, while some people call it the fifth major, whatever you decide is the fifth major, there's no doubt that Muirfield is one of the toughest courses on tour. And if you can win here, you can win anywhere.
All right, here we go. We're going to have some fun with this debate, I'm sure. Skip, we'll go with you. And, change is coming to the PGA Tour, and it's being forced, I guess, by LIV. Mm-hmm. But they're talking about no-cut tournaments. Right now, it doesn't look like the Memorial would be one of them, but who knows what's going to happen in the future. In other words, what they're talking about doing is that you have fields, elevated purses, and that, the guys show up. You can get the bigger names to show up, and they don't have to worry about not getting paid that week. Is that good for the PGA, and do you ever see the Memorial Tournament going that direction? Do you think Jack would be for that?
I don't think Mr. Nicklaus would be for that at all. 100% for. Now, we've heard rumors, we've heard rumblings that that's what the tour is leaning toward, that they would like the Memorial Tournament to be part of that group. I think it benefits television. I don't know that it necessarily benefits the fans. You will be guaranteed the top names, but you're eliminating some guys from the field by going that route. And I'm talking about going back through history, names that probably wouldn't even make the field that went on to win this championship. You mentioned a couple of them just a moment ago.
Edwards.
Yeah, David Lingworth probably would not have been in. Mm-hmm. Back in the day with Roger Maltby.
Mark Bryant.
Absolutely. So that's what's going to be eliminated by some of this. The flip side is
Michael Block.
It gets the guys in there. You mentioned Block, but every year the U.S. amateur champion typically gets an invitation to the Memorial Tournament. If it goes that route, that would no longer be the case. Mm-hmm. So you'd have like the top 60, maybe 10 more guys get in, guaranteed cash. It's like I said, it's great for television because you're guaranteed the Rory McIlroys, the John Rahms, every single weekend that you get those. But chances are you're going to get them anyways.
This is the PGA, those reactions, Skip, to try to keep players from the tour defecting. I don't know. I mean, is the PGA caving?
I think they're going to wait and see. I think they're going to try it, see what the reaction is, and then, the flip side is in those events with the smaller fields, you have shorter days on the golf course because you're talking about Thursday and Friday right now.
Right.
Day long, you have the limited fields, much shorter compressed days. It's similar to what we see on the weekend right now.
Plus, you're going to get paid no matter what.
Sure.
Yeah. Look, the thing that I want to add to this, just speaking from a golf fan's perspective, and we also have heard some of the best players in the world give their opinion on this as well. John Rahm being one of the first who it's still vivid in my mind because I have been so anti-LIV when this started, and it's been less about the guys chasing transcendent money. You could look at where the source of the money, and also just what the product is. The fact that they're trying to be so different and they're trying to tell us as golf fans that is what we want. And I'd like to take a poll of that to find out how many people actually want it that way. Rahm didn't want the fact of no cuts. He said a competitive golf tournament to me is 4 rounds with a cut right in the middle. We have already had some other events in the game of golf where they were limited fields. We have World Golf Championships. We have the FedEx Cup where the fields get cut and they trickle down to where it's only 30 contestants in the final one, and that's kind of cool, but that's different because it's a bigger prize at the end. They wanted to sort of spice things up after major championship season was over to get some more eyeballs. We're trying to go toe-to-toe with the National Football League, and we get it. We're fans of a niche sport. It's not baseball, basketball, football, or even hockey in America. It's golf, but it's more exciting to me if it stays with its tradition. You don't need to try to copy every single thing that LIV is doing. You are upping the money. You are upping the purses. You can take care of guys if they don't make the cut, but I like the way most of our PGA Tour events are already set up.
But with that said, there was a line in the sand. The PGA did have a line in the sand. Some people are saying this is the first of their blinking. Do you see harmony ever between these two?
Do you see it, Skip?
No chance. No chance.
Do you?
Well, I think the relation, as long as Greg Norman is running the show over there, I don't think there is going to be much of a chance for a nice make-good handshake and we all play together because there just have seemed to be so many barbs traded. And you notice Rory McIlroy's kind of done talking about it. He wanted to just get back. And that's fine because that dude was sort of like a knight last year.
Well, Dave, let me ask you this.
He's fine, though.
Because, for the first time, and You know, LIV is thrilled. Greg Norman's thrilled. Brooks Koepka wins the PGA Championship.
All because
I
of
would
LIV.
think they're thrilled to death. What do you think the feeling is with LIV, and what do you think? What kind of rumblings are going on in the PGA with that guy winning?
Yeah, they're not happy about it. I think there was a concerted effort by the PGA, even on social media. All of the Michael Block attention, I think, was kind of deliberate. They were trying to make the Cinderella story more the story than Brooks Koepka winning yet another major. I don't think LIV exists in 10 years. I just think they're throwing money away. They're not getting good ROI. It's the TV product is trash. The CW product is terrible. The idea of trying to make it like Formula One with teams that no one cares about is stupid. It's not like in racing where you actually can help people when you're out on the track. I mean, what are you supposed to kick your partner's ball out of the rough to help him out? It's a stupid concept.
Draft off your partner.
Hey, Bubba Watson said everybody knows the aces.
Oh yeah, everyone knows the
Everybody's
aces.
talking about the
Everyone's talking about the aces. So
Skip and
LIV
I
is
talk all
terrible.
the time
That
about it.
said,
Go Aces.
LIV has undoubtedly been good for the PGA Tour players.
Yeah.
And two things can be, they can both be true. I hate LIV. LIV was good for the PGA. Those two statements, I think, are actually true. It's benefited the players. To me, it's like the USFL challenge the NFL, they get absorbed at some point. It's WCW and the WWE. It is one of those scenarios where, XFL, okay, never was going to make it around at the NFL, but the NFL stole so much stuff in television presentation and cameras. So I think that's where this goes. The PGA Tour eventually absorbs these guys and becomes the only tour in 10 years, but we're going to see lingering effects of good things that came out of LIV.
So do you guys all agree with that? I mean, that eventually there will be détente, and that much like the old AFL,
It's going away.
They'll absorb some of it. Do you see a day where, well, Brooks Koepka never came anyways, but do you see a day where those guys would be welcome to Muirfield?
I think there is the conversations that you hear behind closed doors where these guys are still golfing together. They're still hanging out together.
Well, they're laughing all the way to the bank.
No. I'm saying the PGA and LIV guys.
Well, the players
because
are all
the PGA
laughing
has
away
now
to
made
the
more. I see
they're
what you're
all
saying.
laughing to the bank.
And
yeah.
my thought is that's what it all comes down to, is how are the personal relationships actually impacted in this? Because it is hard to put two guys in a room that hate each other. I don't think there is as much disdain on tour as there was even 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I think one of the things you pointed out is it's not a great product.
No,
and
it's
it's
terrible.
really hard to hate something that is just irrelevant. And I mean, when you're dumping out of playoff matches in the LIV to go to a Goldberg rerun, I think you've learned that this is not a great product.
No.
Yeah,
and you
no.
can't keep giving tens of millions of dollars to players who are past their prime, who are then not drawing TV ratings.
Right.
You're just not going to get a return on investment. It will not be legitimate the way it is now.
As far as the harmony, Dom, I think we're going to find an awful lot outcome this fall with the Ryder Cup because that topic of discussion was big last weekend as well. And will Zach Johnson select any of those LIV guys, Brooks Koepka or whoever, to be a part of the U.S. team?
Can I ask real quick, do you think he should?
I think he should.
Okay.
That's different. I don't think the tours can coexist, but I think something like that, they're Americans.
Can I say something too? I'm here for Jim Nance and jabs at LIV. Subtle jabs during the
He gets them all
crosswalk.
the time.
Who refers to a crosswalk as a C-dub?
Yeah.
Oh, he hit it over by the old CW there. Crosswalk.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I like how many times he referenced the booze throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, the other hot topic gets going. Supposedly, they're exploring rolling back the golf ball. In other words, for the elite players. And Jack Nicklaus has screamed this for years that, if you don't want to mess with the equipment, because the equipment, I mean, he played with a hickory shaft and all that stuff that those guys played with and all that. Wound a lot of balls that if you looked at it wrong, it cut. Now, but he said they need to roll the compression back and just make the ball, so that it goes less because you're making the courses obsolete. I mean, Muirfield, you guys were out there. I guess the 16th tee is now across the street, right?
It's in Westerville.
Because they just hit it so far.
Yeah.
Is this going to happen? Are they? Or, I don't know. Is it Golf Union fighting it, or who's fighting it?
I've been back and forth on this, Dom, and I love talking about it because I definitely see the argument as far as rolling it back because guys just bomb it. But the flip side is the guy, if you roll it back 20%, the guys that bomb it are still going to be the guys that bomb it. So it's not really going to change.
But they've always been the guys.
I understand. But my point is it's going to affect some of the guys that can't, instead of hitting at 320, some of the guys that
Poor
might,
Fred Funk.
that average,
Right, yeah.
that average maybe 280 off the tee. Now, if you roll it back enough, they can only hit it 240. With the current tees, even at Muirfield Village, as an example, that's not making the fairways from those back tees.
Yeah, that's the problem, is they've already started to change so many courses to make up for the golf ball. And I understand the biggest problem now is it's not where we are now, it's where we could be. And if this only goes further and further, I mean, I know Timmy Hall already drives the ball 380. He's one more golf ball change for being on the green. And when you look at stuff like that, I understand the idea of rolling it back. But you're exactly right. You're talking about DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, Justin Thomas. But there are a lot of guys out there. I mean, a big name, Tiger Woods, is not good. If you roll back the golf ball, Tiger Woods is not going to be able to keep up with these modern day golfers.
And from a capitalistic standpoint, tell Titleist and Bridgestone and everyone else, their main line item expense is research and development. I mean, it costs way more to do that than it does to make the ball. So now you tell them, hey, the hundreds of millions that you put into trying to make your ball better, softer, better spin, all that, sorry, you're not allowed to do that for the bait players on tour. Like,
But don't get me wrong. For us hacks, I mean, I can hit a ball 280. I'm an old man.
let's go.
Let's go. What? You don't think I can hit 280?
I think you can.
And we've reached the real round
Don
table.
Johnston down there.
I don't think
Let's take it to the golf course, everybody.
Okay, I don't think you can hit a 280. I think you can hit 2 golf balls 80 each.
Oh, there you
If
go,
that's what you're
280.
saying, yeah.
All right, there you go. We'll find out. Skip, you look at the game of golf, and there's always been that dominant player. I mean, you had Arnie, you had Hogan, you had Jack, you had Tiger's time. Even Greg Norman had his time. Who is the dominant player now? Is there one, and is there one on the horizon? Or are the guys not hungry enough today? They're making too much money.
I think guys are hungry, Dom. It's a great question, but I think it's more of the trio that we see at the top now.
Yeah, but the guy that's in last is getting $15 million a year. Or
I
whatever.
understand
It's
that,
crazy.
but Scheffler and McIlroy, Rahm, those guys want to win. And if you put them out there together, and that's kind of what these elevated events, designated events, were going to be all about, is making sure that we see those guys play together more often. And generally, when that happens, you're going to see a great golf tournament.
We've
Well, you know
already
what?
seen. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it really on the heels of talking about the LIV Tour, it's sad that a guy like Brooks Koepka is over where he is. And there were a lot of reports about this and his feelings about jumping into that tour, because with where he was, he provided the greatest quote that all of us as weekend hacks can assimilate with. He said, golf's the craziest game because when you have it, you feel like you're never ever going to lose it. And when you don't have it, you feel like you're never going to get it. We saw behind the curtain looks at him on the Netflix special on Full Swing.
He was a head
This
case on
guy
that.
was walking around his mansion, and you say that like these guys are laughing all the way to the bank, but he seemed like he was having severe mental problems,
Yeah,
and I
he's
can
distressed.
understand that. He was distraught. He
Where
wasn't
was he?
On
living?
Full Swing, the Netflix
He's
documentary.
living in a mansion by the water in Florida, but it didn't seem
Oh.
to matter. But what I
I'm
was
not in
saying
a
is,
mansion.
It's a streaming service. You may have heard
what,
of it.
what I'm saying is,
Coming soon once you get Wi-Fi. You'll
I was asking about
Look,
the
look.
mansion.
Oh,
These
okay,
guys
okay.
are living a hard life in a mansion.
Yeah.
he's talking about a dominant golfer, right? This guy is one of 20 men that have ever walked Earth that has 5 majors or more. And he hasn't even clipped a Masters or an Open yet, and he's not playing in anything other than these rinky-dink 3-day events where they kick out to go to reruns of Seventh Heaven.
For the
I want to
first
see
time
more.
in a couple years, we got to see Brooks back, and we saw him at the Masters. And the crazy thing is, if he holds on Sunday, he's at 6 majors. And my question, I don't know right off the top how old he is exactly. Anybody know?
30.
I'm going to guess
5?
I think even younger than that. I'll bet the under on that.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've
So
met
you're
him.
talking about a guy in his early 30s who's already got 5 majors. And I'll tell you right now, when it comes to the British and when it comes to the U.S. Open, he's going to be right up there at the top again.
Well, that's all he plays for.
Well, but that's domination. That is.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, yes and no. I mean, he doesn't. You got to understand, when I think of a dominant player, I think of Jack that played in a bunch of tournaments. This guy has, yes, he's getting
33.
33, okay.
Yes, he took the LIV money, but he played in very few tournaments. Everything he did, he made it. He everything he does is pointed to majors. Now that's what he wants, but yeah, we can say he dominates the majors, but Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods in their heyday, they dominated everything because they played in everything.
Well, I don't think
true.
there's any entry into that conversation. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's won 82
For
PGA.
me, to be dominant, you got to play in more than 10 tournaments.
Yeah, but if you win 7 of them, I mean,
Yeah, that's the way it is now. I mean, honestly, it's the load management era.
Yeah.
You see it in every
mean,
sport.
it's a fact. Like what you're saying is a fact.
Yeah,
And
no, I
Brooks
agree. It's a
definitely
different
had
conversation.
That kind of MO to get up for the majors and the big events, but still the fact that it does still make him an interesting golfer. But like Skip said, the trio, this dude, Scotty Scheffler, I mean, come on.
Scotty
Like, this
Scheffler,
guy
Victor
is like,
Hovland,
what,
John
Hovland's
Rahm,
right there.
3 names that
Brooks
are just
is
dominating the
33.
sport.
Scotty's what, 24, and like he's already won the Masters. This guy just wins golf tournaments left and right. John Rahm is a 2-time major winner. He's just going insane right now. The trio that are on Team PGA Tour, they are
You
legends.
didn't even mention Rory McIlroy.
Rory, yeah, and Rory McIlroy.
Didn't even mention Victor Hovland.
Yeah.
Team Vic.
Last thing before we get to predictions, and I think you brought it up, Dave. Obviously, Brooks Koepka wins the PGA, but lo and behold, here's this other story. Michael Block, the feel-good story. Guy has a slam dunk hole-in-one. He's a club pro, which is cool that those guys get in. I mean, and when they get to the fields that are no cut, he won't get into things like that.
Exactly.
But I mean, that was good. That was one for us guys that are regular Joes to see that guy do that.
That can only happen in golf, Tom. Only. You can have a professional at a lower level compete with the top guys. Let's face it, Dom. You're not going from Otterbein to a tryout with the Browns. Okay,
No.
that doesn't happen.
Yep.
But in the game of golf, it can happen.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's very cool. It's the only other example I can think of is that beer league goaltender that sits up in the press box
yes,
at an
waiting
NHL
for the
game.
third spot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of. But you can't, like you said, Skip. You have played golf long enough, and this is the crazy thing about this game, because you and I, we know people that can go out to even some really fine public tracks that are still really long courses from the tips. I mean, 7,200 yards is still a long golf course, and 20 years ago, that'd be a long course for a major, but we know guys that could shoot 7 or 8 under par, and they're that kind of good. But they couldn't even scratch the surface on what PGA Tour level good is. That's what's crazy about this game. But Michael Block, he closed that gap.
Do you think the Memorial invites him?
That's going to be interesting because he just got invited to the Colonial week of, right after he was sitting in a room at Oak Hill.
Yeah.
He got invited next week.
All right, last thing, and I want all of your opinions on this. Tiger Woods. Can we all agree that he will not break Jack's record, the majors?
No chance.
No chance.
Anyone see him?
No shot.
Yeah, it's too bad, but the latest injury.
Next question. Does he ever play on tour again?
100%.
Yes.
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 You really think he
Yes.
plays again?
Yes.
Singular events?
Yes.
For sure.
You think he
Yeah.
plays
Yes.
again?
He'll never play a
majors,
schedule.
yeah.
I mean, he'll never play more than 4 events in a year, maybe 5 or 6 if he. But no,
We'll never see him at Muirfield again.
I'm not ready to say
Well,
that.
I won't-
I'm not ready to say that.
I don't
I
think he'll
won't
walk
go
that
that
course.
far. I'm with you on that. I
How
won't go
soon do
that
they
far.
honor him?
I don't think.
and do they
I don't
do it?
think Tiger wants to.
No.
I don't think Tiger wants to be honored because I think he feels like that is I'm done.
Yeah.
So I think Tiger wants to still feel competitive. So I think you're
Although-
still 5 to 7 years away from that.
Although
being
it
a
was
thing.
pretty cool. Was it Sam Snead when he was honored? He played in the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, that would
Tiger's
be a
going to try
cool
to play the
thing.
majors, and I think when we see Jack Nicklaus getting older, right, I think there comes a point where Tiger will want to play a farewell event while Jack is alive. So I think Tiger would like to make it here one more time.
And I think the one big thing that Tiger has said is, you talk about him being honored. He does not want to be a figurehead on the course. He has said 1,000 times, if I am playing in a tournament, I'm playing in it to win.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever play at the Memorial again unless they give him an exemption with a cart. Those hills, I mean, it's just so much to walk. I can't. If they give him an exemption, I think he'd play 8 tournaments a year.
All right. Last thing, boys. Here we go. Moment of truth time. Dave, who wins? Who's your winner and why?
All right, I'm going to go Scotty Scheffler. We mentioned him. He had 3rd place here last time he played here. He also played here. He had a top 25 when he was fresh off the Corn Ferry. So I think he has a little bit of course history here. I think he's the best player on tour right now. I really think Scheffler breaks through in this tournament.
All right, Adam. Let me guess. Is his initials a VH?
We're getting shirts made. They've already printed them. Victor
Have you gone to
Hovland.
the
Yeah,
Netherlands
I like
yet?
that
No,
too.
I have not. But,
Visit the hometown?
Yeah. I mean, they know how much I'm behind him. Victor Hovland is going to win the Memorial. He is one of the best up-and-comers on tour.
This guy loves him.
You just saw him in the PGA Championship.
He kept saying hail to
Saw
the
him hit
he
a
kept
ball
saying
right into the hill bank.
He said hail to the victor around the office the other day. So it was Hovland. Okay, now it makes sense.
He took all the fun out of that back
he
nine.
picks Victor
Slamming
Hovland
it
for
into
everything.
the face of a bunker.
He also
has Victor Hovland.
He has Victor Hovland for NBA Finals MVP.
that's-
He has
hey,
Victor
listen.
for everything.
You
Why
never
did I
know.
even ask? All right,
he loves
Skippy,
it.
who do you like?
I want to go Rahm, but I'm going Patrick Cantlay.
I'll take Rombo for you then.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we got Rahm, Cantlay,
The real winner.
Hovland,
Scotty Scheffler.
Scotty Scheffler, and I'm going Rahm. I think
And
Rahm
Scheffler.
should have won it back-to-back years.
I know.
He should have, but in Scheffler, he's already won in Central Ohio.
He won the Corn Ferry.
The winners
Scarlet.
list for the
Yes.
Nationwide Children's
It's better
is
than
as
the
impressive
Memorial.
as the Memorial.
I know.
Justin Thomas, Scotty
Yes,
Scheffler.
if you win at Scarlet, you're going places.
All right, Timmy, fill the fans in. The fan will be there all week. Give us your
Yes.
coverage.
Yes, so coverage for the Memorial, where am I looking? Yeah, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. our live coverage from our normal booth right there by the short game area. You can't miss it if you're walking in the main entrance. 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Thursday and Friday. And every show we're doing on the weekend is going to be there too, starting with Skip Mosic's outstanding, world-famous tee to green at 9 a.m. on Saturday.
You got it.
You
We
could
like
get
that
an
tee to green.
autograph.
It's how many
from
years
World-
has it been? It's
30?
30 years, tee to green. Dave, fill the fans in. We'll be out there all week, right?
Yeah, we'll be out
Is
there all
Adam
week.
coming with us?
Well, you know what, Dom? Here's what I want.
I'll just be
you,
following Victor.
I want you to make a friendly wager right now. Dom always does a one-on-one interview with the champion. If Victor Hovland wins, you hand it to Adam.
Oh my
I love
gosh!
it.
If Victor Hovland wins, he'll help me in a headline.
If Victor Hovland wins.
Let the guy do the interview?
No, you don't get it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I figure as much.
Hey.
I figure as much. Dom boxes out better than Dennis Rodman.
Give me a
in his heyday.
break.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, so we're going to be at Wall to Wall Sports out there Saturday and Sunday. Make sure you watch that Sunday night wall at 11:35. That's our total tournament rate.
Everything. Anything else we need to add, boys?
You'll just hear me in the background yelling, Victor, I picked you.
Victor, can I take a picture with you? Victor. Great stuff, guys. Thank you very much. Once again, keep it on 10 TV 97.1 The Fan. For all your Memorial Tournament needs, we'll be out there all week covering Jack's tournament like no one else can. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the radio and on TV.